All right, what's up, y'all? Uh, Feels like it's been forever since that Breeders' Cup. I'm telling you, I've been really busy. Wanted to comment on a few things, but hey, what can you say? Time flies by when you're having fun. This race, however, Pegasus World Cup, I've been waiting on it. I was pretty excited into that Breeders' Cup. I'm like, all right, Vino Rosso came through like I thought. Hopefully he's going to be in this Pegasus, and we'll get to see maximum security there, and we're finally going to get to see Omaha Beach against maximum security. You know, Code of Honor is going to be back in it. I'm really hyped up about the Pegasus World Cup. I really was. I was thinking about going. It's not too far from here. I was thinking about going, but they come up with this crazy decision to change the payout. All right. So they changed the payout of this race instead of being, I think last year it was in the $6 million, something like that range. They really toyed with this race a lot. They had it as the richest horse race in the world. I think it was $7 million the first year. Then they bumped it up, made it even more. Then they brought in the turf and split the purse, and that made it so the race by itself wasn't as big anymore. And then now they've made it even less. There's no entry fee, but it's only a $3 million purse. Add to that, the Saudis have jumped into this horse racing game big time. All right, now what have the Saudis done? They've announced the Saudi Cup. The Saudi Cup is going to be next month in February 22nd, I think it is. The Saudi Cup, $20 million purse. Let me say it again. A $20 million purse. 4 times that of what they do in Dubai. I think Dubai is still 5, might be up to 6. But this is a massive purse. The Saudis are jumping in big time trying to pull a horse racing game into Saudi Arabia and they put Saudi Arabia on the world stage in the horse racing game. And that's a great way to do it, is by having such a huge race. Now that's what they were trying to do down here at Gulfstream with the Pegasus, but they really backed out. They got greedy, went for the turf stuff. That didn't work. And now this race is down to a measly $3 million. Not that $3 million is measly, but when the Saudis are dropping 20, I think it's 10 million going to first place, that's a huge race. So needless to say, a lot of these other horses have dropped out. Maximum Security is going to go racing that Saudi Cup in Riyadh next month. Coming up, I haven't heard, but most likely, I think you probably would see Vino Rosso, maybe Code of Honor there. The winner of this Pegasus World Cup will get an automatic invite to that Saudi Cup, though, so we will see the winner of this race in it. So I was thinking, well, maybe Omaha Beach will still be able to get in there and get this win, and then we'll see him in the Saudi Cup against Maximum Security. Finally going to get the matchup right? No. Omaha Beach was scratched from this race. Not that means he won't go to the Saudi Cup, but he's scratched from this race. He won't be running. Spun to Run, who beat Omaha Beach in the what was it? The Malibu. And the Malibu Stakes, Spun to Run beats, Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Spun to Run beat Omaha Beach. So Spun to Run was in this again. We're looking at a rematch. That's not going to happen either. Both Spun to Run and Omaha Beach scratched from this race. So it really took all of the fun out of it for me. I mean, we don't even have Country House, the alleged Kentucky Derby winner. Tom's Did Hot, Clark Handicap winner. Not available. Absent. So at any rate, this race is not at all what I thought it was going to be. It's no longer the biggest horse race in the world. It probably ranks in the top 10 somewhere, maybe now 6 or 7 to what they've done. But at any rate, still a grade 1, $3 million purse. It's got some good competition, just not what we were hoping to see with the championship type horses. But number 1, True Timber. All right, 6-year-old out of Mine Shaft. Got Tiz now on the other side. He's being ridden by Joe Bravo. He hasn't done too much recently. 3 third places in his last 3 races. Last 2, he lost to Maximum Security in the Cigar Mile, the Bold Ruler. Those were decent races, but Maximum Security, he ran a race in the Bold Ruler. Time was 1:20 But he ran that cigar mile in 136. That was a workout. He didn't face any competition, so True Timber couldn't really give Maximum Security anything for his money. So we'll see what he's going to be able to do in this field here, though. But he couldn't stand up to the likes of Maximum Security, that's for sure. Number 2 is Tax. All right, we've seen this horse do a lot. He's tough. He's competitive. It's not very fast. He did get that win back in the Jim Dandy. I had Ortiz Jr. aboard then. He went out in the Travers, finished 7th behind Vino Rosso and Code of Honor. And then he was in the Discovery Stakes at Aqueduct. He was 2nd in that one. Not very impressive time, minute 50 in the mile and 1/8. So they switched his brother over to him. Jose Ortiz is going to be riding him now instead of Irad Ortiz. Tax. Like I said, strong horse, competitive, but he just hasn't been able to come up in first very often. Third horse we've got is, by the way, Tax there, 8-1. I mean, these odds are going to change, I'm sure. This is all the morning odds based on Omaha Beach in there, so this is all going to be different. True Timber was at 15-1. Number 3, Diamond Ops. Diamond Ops, decent looking horse. He won his Mr. Prospector Stakes at Gulfstream Park. Decent win, 121 at 7 furlongs. He's got to step it up here now, going 2 extra furlongs, but he had a good win. If he can get the same kind of race going on the same track, hey, Diamond Ops is somebody you might want to look at here. These odds were at 15-1. Julien Leperreau riding him. He's an all right jockey. I mean, I can see he's all right, but he's got a decent shot, especially seeing as how Omaha Beach and Sun are not going to be running in this one. Decent workouts for this one. 36 breezing out of the gate. Before that, he did a 122 on turf, a 123 on turf, and before he added a 34 breezing out of the gate on dirt. So Diamond Ops looks good. So far, at least, we're going to have to take a look at the rest of them, and who really knows how this is going to shake down. But he's a decent-looking horse. He's shown that he can win on this track. Now, 4, Seeking the Soul. 7-year-old. Feels like this horse has been around forever. Brian Hernandez has been riding him lately, but we got Johnny Velasquez back aboard. I think he's ridden him before. I mean, hey, it's been so long. Who knows? Johnny Velasquez aboard Seeking the Soul out of Perfect Soul. This horse hasn't done much recently. They got him at 30-1 here. 6th in the Clark Handicap, 6th in the Breeders' Cup Classic, 4th in the Awesome Again. Just hasn't really been too competitive with these top-level horses. Does have a couple of decent workouts. 1-minute breezing 5 furlong workouts and a 112 breezing at 6. So he's pulling up even time in the workout, which is, that's what you're supposed to do. So I wouldn't really rule him out. He's got Johnny Velasquez aboard. He's a much better jockey than Brian Hernandez, even though Johnny Velasquez has done some weird stuff in the past few races. But hey, Seeking the Soul, you don't want to rule him out because you got that jockey upgrade and he's got some good workouts. So, hey, horse could be in some pretty decent shape. Number 6, we got Higher Power. 5-year-old Pacific Classic winner. That's the last time he really looked good. He's got Flavian Pratt riding him. They had him at 6-1. He's I said he won that Pacific Classic. Then he came out a disappointing 3rd in the Awesome Again, 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Classic. I didn't think he stood a chance in that race anyway. But he did run 3rd, not too bad. But he really didn't. He didn't look as good as he's supposed to have looked. I thought he would look a whole lot better after his win in the Pacific Classic. Which wasn't that great, but I just expected more out of him. But at any rate, Higher Power, he's still going to be competitive, being that he does have a decent win at 1.25 miles. He's stepping it down here to the 1.125 miles. Last time he did that was the Awesome Again. Didn't do too great. Minute 49, he was third, 7 lengths off. But hey, maybe he'll be up in a game for this one. Number 7, War Story. They got him as a 30-1. I definitely think that's going to change. He's out in Northern Fleet. Got Pulpit on the other side, so really good breeding for this horse. He's being ridden by Joel Rosario, who they switched up. He's never ridden him before, but Rosario is a solid jockey. And he's coming off a win in the Harlan's Holiday. Now, Luis Saez rode him in that. I don't really know why they switched him. I might do a little bit of research on that, but at any rate, Joel Rosario is an upgrade from Luis Saez anyway, even though I don't really necessarily like switching a jockey coming off of a win. Rosario's on him. Coming off this win, decent, mile and 1/16, 142 even time. Even Andrew Beyer came up with 100, so amazingly the Beyer number seemed to actually make sense in this race. Hey, I think War Story's definitely going to be one you want to consider. He's 8 years old, got a lot of experience, good breeding, coming off a win, good jockey. Got to keep your eye on that one. Number 8, we got Mr. Freeze, 5-year-old. This one's out of To Honor and Serve. This is where Luis Saez went. That's why I'm curious about this. I don't know why Luis Saez would choose to ride Mr. Freeze instead of staying on War Story, who just came off of a win. Mr. Freeze had third his last out in the Clark Handicap, second before that in the Fayette. And he had the win in the Ack-Ack, not facing much competition. Robbie Alvarado was riding him. Luis Saez picked up here. He's going to be 20-1, probably going to be on the lead. Or out there trying to get the lead, facing up against the likes of Mucho Gusto and stuff. But, I don't really know about Mr. Freeze. I don't really know if he's got enough to get the win for this one. Next one, we're going to be looking at the 9 now. Or, sorry, not the 9. That was another scratch that was fun to run. The 10, Mucho Gusto. Mucho Gusto, another one I expect to be out front, 4-year-old. I've liked this horse a lot throughout his career. He just hasn't been able to get it done. He got it done earlier in the career, but he was second in the Haskell, third in the Travers, fourth in the Oklahoma Derby. Maybe he's just not as good as he looks like he's supposed to be. He's a Bob Baffert horse, decent breeding out of Mucho Macho Man, not that great, but I like Mucho Gusto. I just don't know if he's gonna win. He's let me down before. I didn't really pick him to do much. I just expected more out of this horse, but being that the competition is going to be kind of weak in this when compared to what it should have been, I think he's a definite contender. So we still got to look at that. We look at some pace and everything, see how that shakes down. Number 11, Tenfold. By the way, Mucho Gusto, Irad Ortiz Jr. riding him. He's never ridden him before, so that may be a change as well. He's jumping off of Joe Talamo. Maybe that was a problem. Talamo, hey. He's not as good as Irad Ortiz. So the number 11, Tenfold, he's at 30-1. You have to go back to Mucho Gusto again, but he was 9-2. I'm expecting him to probably be the favorite, but hey, maybe not. We'll see. Number 11, Tenfold, 5-year-old. This horse has had some decent races over his career. He's never really gotten that big win to really put his name on the map. Gaffleon is riding him, taking over for Ricardo Santana Jr. He's never ridden him before, but Stephen Asmussen trainers put Tyler Gaffleon on him, who's made a big name for himself over the past year with War of Will in his Preakness win. Now Tenfold, deep, really good breeding. He's a curling horse. Got Tappet on his grandmother, or on his mother's father, Tappet, but he just hasn't really done too much recently. 4th in this Tenacious, 6th in the Fayette, 8th in the Lux Classic. Not too much competition, and he's not doing too much against him. At any rate, he's in this one. Got to change it, jockey. I don't really know if that's a real upgrade, but he's got a jockey change. Maybe they'll have some effect. Plus, like I said, the competition is not going to be as tough as it has been. And then the number 12, we got Bodie Express. Now, Bodie Express faced some really tough competition early in the career. I took some flack for picking him to hit the board, being that he was a maiden. He did have some impressive races. They did decide to take him back, run him as a maiden, put him in maiden special weight. Guess what? Got a win. So he broke his maiden. I don't know why there's no fractions for that race, but there's no fractions for that. He came out, got another win in an allowance race. And then he went up in the Harlan's Holiday, and he ran third in that one, third behind War Story. So Bodie Express, I think, is a decent contender. Jerimilio is the jockey. Emicio, I'm sure I think it is Emicio Jerimilio. Decent jockey, rides a lot down at Gulfstream, knows the track. This horse has got decent breeding out of Bodie Meister, who is just out of Empire Maker. Rest in peace, he just passed away this past week. And he's got City Zip on his mother's father. So Bodie Express, decent breeding. I think maybe he just needs to find his groove and get in place. But at any rate, Bodie Express is they got him at 30-1. Should be running out front. I think he's another one you want to keep an eye on. Definitely don't think he should be 30-1 based on this competition now. So we'll look and see. This is going to be tough. I don't really have a favorite right now. I usually have somebody I like going into the race. But being that Omaha Beach is out of it, not sure. So we're going to do some more research on this, of course. Going to do some spotlight videos on it, which is going to be kind of tough because these horses aren't that great, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then do some pace handicapping, and then I'm going to come to you with my pick for the winner.